Welcome as we continue our study of Colossians chapter 4, here in verse 9 and 10. With Onesimus, the faithful and beloved brother who is of you, they will make known to you all the things here. Aristarchus, my fellow prisoner, greets you with Mark, the cousin of Barnabas, about whom you received orders. If he comes to you, receive him. So in verse 9, we're actually not going to look at any words up here. Again, this is just noting that with Tychicus, that Paul is also sending Onesimus, who's also a believer and a brother in Christ, and that they will make known the things that Paul wants to communicate to them. And we've seen make known before, it's norizo, and it just means to declare or to make known. There's nothing really beyond that there. Fellow prisoner, and let's see, there are two words that we want to look in here. One is fellow prisoner, and that is it's soon ekmalatos. Now, what's interesting is this one. It's soon, which is with. We've seen that before. You would expect this to be really similar to fellow slave, but it's not really. It's unique. So ekmalatos is a prisoner of war. So this is a fellow prisoner of war, and you could just go with fellow prisoner, but I do think it's interesting. Sometimes we see Paul using some warfare terminology, indicating that he is at war right now. He tells Timothy to wage a good warfare. So, and then in chapter 6 of Ephesians, there's several terms that are used with the spiritual armor that are related to war. The armor itself is meant to give a picture of being at war, and so this is very common. We don't think of it that often, but I think it is important to recall that that Paul is at war, and as are we. It's a spiritual warfare, but it is a war. And he's just saying here that Aristarchus is greeting them, and that Mark as well is greeting them. Now he uses two words here. He uses receive twice. So he says, whom you've received orders, and if he comes to you, receive him. And this is just a really, it's a unique opportunity to look at how the Greek has so many more words than we have in English, and often we don't really have adequate translations for their nuances, so we just translate them the same. And so here, the first receive is from Lombano, which we've seen. And what's interesting is it's always translated receive, at least as far as I know, or something along those lines, except maybe. But generally, you're going to see receive or receiving, received, something along those lines. This has some other words in here that like caught and call, but I'm guessing if we look at these, generally when they do that, it's because there's a relationship to another word, and they maybe focus on that other word. But the vast majority of these are going to be translated receive. But what's really interesting is that Lombano means to take hold of something, so sort of reach out and to take hold of it. To grab it with the hand. And so while you are receiving something, it's a little bit more active than that. Now, what's interesting is the second word here, which is dekomai, is almost a synonym. It means to take with the hand. Also can be translated receive, but it's even more active. So this maybe would demonstrate a little bit more excitement about what you're receiving, or at least that maybe you should demonstrate more excitement about what you're receiving. There's definitely a more active go and get it in Detomai.